So what does Sunlit Tides have to offer? Here, you can enjoy world-class fishing, pristine beaches, and sultry steams in the sauna. All houses here feature a stunning ocean or lagoon view. Will your Sims find true love or just have fun trying? What's up guys, Rakowski here, and today we are judging and rating all of the builds in Sunlit Tides. Before we get started, please don't forget to like this video and subscribe if you'd like to see more Sims 3 content. You guys are the best. Thank you so much. Also, head down to my community tab where you can vote on which world we review next. Okay, with that out of the way, let's get into the video. Oh my god, it's already loaded. I'm not even ready. What's up guys, welcome back to Sunlit Tides. Like I mentioned in the previous episode, I really like the panning shot. I like how it just sweeps up from the ocean, up the coastline, to the mountains. I think it's very pretty, and the world itself is very pretty. I know the builds were not exactly my favorite, but I absolutely love the beaches, the landscaping, the color of the sand and the water is really nice too. I do want to mention that I have a lighting mod installed. I'm not sure what the default water for Sunlit Tides looks like, but this is the Isla Paradiso water. You can choose which water you want to use with each lighting mod. That's why there's so many options. But anyway, this is not a lighting mod tutorial. We have to get back into the builds for Sunlit Tides, and I know from map view that there are a few interesting builds that I'm excited to see. And we didn't get many of the bigger ones, the mansions or anything. A couple of them are empty, but a few of them are occupied, so we'll definitely have that to look forward to. But yeah, I'm gonna take off my sunglasses so I can actually see, and we're gonna get started. Let's go. First up is Seaside Retreat. Okay, so my first impression is that it's actually a really nice modern house, especially for EA. Look at the windowing on this thing. I think it's very well balanced. There's not too many windows. Well, there's definitely a lot of windows, but in a modern house like this, it's a little more typical. I like the shape. I like how it's like 2 boxes instead of the 1 box we usually get from EA. I like that there's a few balconies, but not too many. And there's a nice outdoor space. And this is a much more appropriate sized pool. In the last episode, I was complaining that a few of the pools were too small, and that's kind of like the smallest I would do a pool in The Sims. But yeah, nice landscaping, nice driveway, and not really much else to say. The colors are good too, so let's jump inside and see if they accomplish that. Oh wow, they kind of did. Nothing really throws me off right away. I really like the color of the wood. I like how the living room is kind of off in its own area. Usually in modern houses, they end up really big and open concept, and I really like having separate rooms for each thing. You can put kitchen and dining together or something, but I don't like a full open plan first floor. The bathroom is really nice. I like the black tile. I like the white tile too, and I like how there's no random green toilet. Well done. The kitchen is nice and compact, maybe a little too compact, and I don't like how this one counter is blue. I think they just forgot to change it back to white, and all the appliances are kind of crammed in together. I don't know. I like having a bar, but I might have appreciated a little bit more counter space. The dining room has nothing in it except for 1 painting. Okay, let's go upstairs. You know how I like to put the bathrooms on top of each other, and these bathrooms are right on top of each other, so I love it. This one's got a nice pink accent. It's not overbearing. I think it's a nice little splash of color. Maybe the tub didn't have to be pink, but you know what? Whatever. This bathroom is really nice too. I love the wooden backsplash. The office area in this bedroom is nice. You know what? Looking at it from afar, the thing I like about this house is that from the outside it reads mansion, but on the inside it reads kind of starter home, so it's a nice kind of in between. I don't like playing in EA mansions usually because they're way too big and my Sims get all over the place, but this is just for like a simple family, and it's like a simple family house inside, so it's really nice. Again, I really like the outside. I like the use of the wood, the plants, the landscaping. The windowing is good. The colors are good. I don't know, this one's pretty good. I don't think it's a 10, but it's definitely a 9. A 9? My goodness, we're starting off strong again. This might be one of those worlds where we do really badly in the first episode, and then in the second episode, EA will redeem themselves. So let's move on and see if they did it. Next up is Shady Rest. Okay, this is all right. It's a little bit boxy if you look at it from the top, but it kind of looks like an EA house that a simmer went in and renovated and fixed everything. Because usually in this type of house, EA really goes crazy with like the windows and the exterior colors and all sorts of weird choices, but this looks a lot more balanced and a lot more toned down. And it kind of looks like it blends into the world, which is nice to have a few houses like that. You don't want every house to be standing out. Now, that being said, it's also covered in palm trees, so you could miss it anyway. Usually I like to reserve this type of landscaping for builds that I want to hide, but I definitely see why they might want to hide this one because they've definitely done better in this world. Yeah, it's kind of basic. Let's jump inside and see. Okay, these colors are pretty good. The layout is pretty good too. I like this little office area with like all the bookcases. It's maybe a couple too many bookcases, but that's fine. The living room's a little bit smushed in, and I like the blue, but they used a couple too many blues. use. I would have just used 1 or 2. They also overdid this rubber tree plant. I can see it 3 times in this one frame. Going into the dining room, they actually have a decorative table with a plant. This is very pretty. I don't think you needed the rubber tree plant here. Did they do a painting? They didn't. A painting would have made this room so much better. Oh well, let's go into the kitchen. The kitchen has a kitchen sink that's very nice, trash compactor, dishwasher, stove. Again, they're going for all the appliances in such small kitchens, and sometimes EA does giant kitchens with no appliances. So weird. Going into the stark white bathroom, I absolutely love it. I like how the wood is just like the slight accent color, because I understand that when you do a bathroom in all white, it gets a little bit flat. So that's a nice little touch. I might have added a tile though. Okay, going upstairs, we have nice muted colors again. Very nice. Nothing is like really offensive to the eye, which is really rare for an EA build. The bathroom actually has a bathroom sink. Well done. They actually used every correct sink so far. Medicine cabinet is good. Again, they just use like the blue and the wood just to add a little touch of color to the bathroom. That's really nice. I actually really like this wall. It reminds me of a wall that you'd get in The Sims 1. This bedroom is kind of nice and basic. So is this one. I know it's just for like a simple couple or whatever, but the build does lack a little bit of personality, but perhaps so do the Sims. Like I've never even heard of these people. Julian and Maggie Strong. Okay, actually never mind. I know who these people are. So he's like a widow or whatever, and this is his daughter, and they have like nothing in common. But from what I can see, what they both lack is aesthetic taste, because everything just looks a little bit like, you know, suburban home outfitters kind of style. And even though it harmonizes well, it just becomes a little bit flat and a little bit bland, and I really don't see anything that pops out with this house. But yeah, as much as I get mad at EA for like when they do all that crazy stuff in like the weird windows, when they don't do enough, it really bothers me, because I don't really like, I can't really say like how to enhance this house. It's just a little bit boring. I don't know. I'm gonna give this one a 6. I almost gave it a 7, but there really is nothing. I think it's nice. Like there's nothing really wrong with it. It's just missing something, you know what I mean? But perhaps it's a blessing in disguise. So let's see what we get next. Next up is the house that Love built. And if you detected a hint of sarcasm, you're absolutely right, because this is Daniel and Mary Sue Pleasant's house. And they have the perfect marriage, don't you know? But anyone who knows The Sims 2 is gonna absolutely love this, because the Pleasants are an iconic family from Pleasant View. And for those of you who aren't aware, Daniel is cheating on Mary Sue with the maid in The Sims 2, so their marriage is kind of on the rocks, and they're no longer in love with each other. But anyway, let's get back to the build. Looking at this, from the front, it looks extremely flat. When they said the house that Love built, my first thought was the house that EA built. But there are a few architectural details that I love. I particularly love the back, which we'll get to in a second, but at the front here, you can see that there's stairs that lead down to this sunken patio, and there's actually like a basement level with like the pool and everything. So that's kind of nice. And I like on the roof here, you have it cut out so that way it's not fully covered, it's not as boxy. And like I said, at the back, it's a beautiful back patio. I love how it's decorated. I love the wood, I love the furniture, I love the outdoor kitchen and bar area. It's very nice. But yes, it's still an EA house, and it's for the Pleasants, so hopefully they took a little bit more time in decorating this one. So let's see. Well, of course, they had to use their classic baby poo furniture right as you walk in the front door, but that's fine. Going into the bathroom here, I really like this bathroom too. Again, nothing too offensive, nothing too out of the ordinary, just nice white porcelain plumbing and like little accent colors. This house is actually quite small. It's kind of Sims 4 sized, if you know what I mean. Now going into the kitchen, everything looks great. I love the dining table, the orchid, the kitchen and everything, except these ugly blue bar stools. Why are they here? They like ruin the entire room for me. They don't really go with anything. Going over here, we have like the pool area. This pool is too small. I wish they made it a little bit bigger. Again, they have a sauna, which is something that I like, but this house is very small for what it is. Because even though they have the basement level, there's no actual basement, and I think this house could have benefited from an extra floor, because like look at the size of this bedroom. I think the house looks pretty. I think it's just a little too smushed for Sims 3, because if you don't have any like modifications to your game, your Sims are going to be stuck in the doorways and unable to get past each other. But this would be a really good house, because if they had twins, there'd be no room for Angela and Lilith, right? And the house would be in disarray. Mary Sue would go crazy. Daniel would leave the house and cheat on her. So it's kind of good for the Sims if you really think about it. But coming back outside, I'm thinking, you know what? It's a pretty good effort for a modern EA house. If it wasn't for the Pleasants, I would probably score it 1 or 2 points higher. I just expected something a little bit more iconic. The flat front doesn't look too bad now that I come back out. I guess it depends on the angle you're looking at, but I don't know. It's a pretty good house. It's just a little bit smushed, and it's not exactly for the Pleasants. I don't know. I'm gonna give it a 7.5. Yeah, 7.5. It's kind of anticlimactic, but at the end of the day, I still love playing with the Pleasants, and if you don't like the house, you can always renovate it, or you can like bulldoze it, or do whatever you want, or just move them out. But yeah, good family and house for some drama. So let's move on. Next up is the Island Peril. Well, the style is perilous, that's for sure. My goodness, this is another EA McMansion, but I do like this style in Sunlit Tides. I think it's nice to have a mix of like Americanized ugliness mixed in with some traditional beautiful things, because that pretty much describes the real world. Okay, looking around, it's definitely windowed by EA. Look at this. There's like windows all over the place, and they couldn't be bothered to center the back here. My God, there's so many trees around it. They're trying to hide everything, but I'm checking. This side is actually symmetrical, and then you hit it. Why would you do that? It's actually not too bad for a big bulky EA mansion. It's roofed pretty well. It's really simple. They made it a simple shape. They didn't do lots of bump outs or anything. They kind of just focused on these gazebo areas and the front overhang and the garage, which is fine, I guess. Okay, so looking over here at the back, I noticed that there's a bridge over top of the pool, which is something we see in the base game land grab mansion, which I really like. So this is maybe the strongest pool that we've seen. I don't know why they feel the need to put like fountain little side pools on the side. Maybe they're supposed to be hot tubs or something. I'm not sure. Yeah, anyway, let's just jump inside and see. Again, another like not ridiculously decorated EA mansion. I'm pretty impressed. Now, as with most places, they usually just add another sitting room whenever they don't know what to do with a certain room. Oh wow, it's actually colored pretty well. I like this front area living room where there's like no TV or anything. It's very formal. You got the nice green carpet here. And actually, I want to mention this now. I like this green bathroom. This is really nice. Maybe a little too much green now that I have the walls up. But if the walls were white or something and just had one splash of green, then that would be really nice. It's kind of minty, like not so berry challenge-esque, right? Of course, with EA mansions, we have another living room over here. Going into the kitchen, wow, that's actually pretty nice too. Again, this is what I want. I want like a little more counter space, and this kitchen gives it to me. The dining room is decorated with the Sims 2 cheating trees and not much else. Oh, they have a painting at least. Venus de Milo statue, the ugly bookcase I hate, another living room. See, this is the thing. Like the office didn't have to be this big. The bedroom is kind of small actually looking at it. Like if this is how small your bedroom is, why does the office have to be twice the size? I don't know. They didn't need another living room. Let's go upstairs. See, there's another seating area up here. You don't need all of this. Oh my God. Okay, looking at it from the top, we have another couple seating areas, but I love the colors. I think it's really nice and muted. It's kind of like nice versions of a Sunset Valley house. I like the mirrors in the gym. Foosball table in the gym. Really, that's really unnecessary. I like this bathroom though. I like the bathtub up on a platform and like not right up against the wall. It's kind of pretty. And they actually put curtains and blinds in every room. And sometimes I forget to do that stuff. Or I use custom ones and then uninstall them by accident and then they disappear. Okay. Yeah, looking around, it's like pretty good. It kind of reminds me of a Sims 4 mansion. It's kind of laid out like that. Lots of seating areas. Every room is about the same size and like perfect rectangles, but it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just a little bit uninspiring and basic. When you're building a mansion, you definitely want to focus on like basic floor plans and like rectangle rooms at first, but for something that's like big and grand and in an EA world, I expect a little bit more. They did have lots of details. I liked the arches into certain rooms. I like the color scheme overall. It's just, again, it's missing something, but it's an ambitious build and they did an all right job. I don't know. I'm gonna give them a 7. A 7, my goodness. This house also reminds me of Aurora Skies. Remember all those houses like on the inside? They actually used really nice wood colors. Hopefully they keep making good color choices. So let's see. Next up is the Jungle Garden. This is kind of cute. It kind of reminds me of a Sims 4 tiny house. The porch is really big though, so it would be over the maximum amount of tiles, but you know what I mean. The roof is pretty good actually. I kind of like having this like double gabled roof style where the back is all lined up, but at the front it's a little bit different. I think it's just a little bit more dynamic. So if you're stuck in like making box houses, just make a box and a half and then roof it like this. It'll probably look nice. Windowing is all right. It's actually not a big house, so there's not really much space to window. So even if they windowed every tile, it would only be about 20 or 30. So let's just jump inside. This is a nice color palette too. My goodness, they stuck the rubber tree plant outside. That's kind of weird. Let's just go into the kitchen. I like this kitchen. It's a very nice brown. It's very neutral, but isn't like super stark and white. It's a nice change. I don't love this sink though. I still feel like this is a bathroom sink, but it's on one of those like on the cusp. Like it could pass as a kitchen sink, but definitely not some of the sinks they use. The wood is kind of dark. I don't mind it. I don't mind having the different woods. All your woods don't have to match, but they do have to be cohesive. And that's kind of the problem with The Sims 4. None of them match, and then none of them even go together. In here, you can tweak it around. I particularly like the living room. It's very nice and soft. I don't hate this carpet, even though it has colors I don't like, because they don't use too many of the colors, right? It's still like predominantly like a brown basic rug. This bathroom is nice. I love the cabinet. I love how small it is. And if you look, like this is just a little detail, but I noticed these things and it just shows me that they care. Look how there's tiles right under the tub, but nowhere else, right? So they were thinking ahead. I love it. The bedroom could use an extra nightstand, a lamp, and like maybe something else. This is really empty. It just has like dresser, mirror, a painting, a bed, and one nightstand. It looks like a my first Sims build and like I'm doing the checklist and the Prima guide. Like these are the things I need. But from what I could see, especially in the base game worlds, a lot of the EA houses look like they were someone's first build. So I wouldn't be surprised if they were working with a piece of paper. But yeah, coming back outside, it's nice, it's basic, it's simple. It's really nice on the inside. inside, like much nicer than many EA houses, but this house is not very ambitious, it's not very special, and it doesn't really have any extra touch either. I just find a lot of these are lacking personality. They're prettier than Sunset Valley, but they have less personality, which is not necessarily a good thing. I don't know. I'm gonna give this one a 5. It's just super simple and nothing special, but again, one of those houses that will kind of blend into the background, into the world, and if you don't have to worry about it, it's fine. And like I said, look at this view. This is gorgeous. Okay, let's keep going. Next up is the Jungle Recluse. Okay, so this house is kind of like a better version of the last house. I really like it. I think it's roofed a little bit better, and I like when they use this texture type of roof, and it looks good. It does kind of look like a little island house hidden away in the palm trees, and that's kind of what it's supposed to be. And I like how the house is also kind of facing away from the main road. It just kind of gives more of that recluse vibe. Again, a little extra outdoor seating area and stuff, which is really perfect for this type of world, but they didn't roof it over any like sort of weird way. I know it's simple, but I do like it, and I do like the color. It's kind of just like a hint of mint, you know what I mean? Anyway, I don't know. Let's just go inside. Oh my god, this is so good. Look at this. Look at okay, I know I don't like green that much, but this is a really nice, fun, vibrant green, and it goes really well with the other colors. I love the yellow, I love the orange. I think the whole thing works together. It's a little bit of a rainbow mess, but if you're in the mood, these are pretty good colors. Now the bathroom looks like every Simmer's first bathroom with just like a toilet, a sink, and a tub in 6 tiles. Actually, it looks like a Simsy bathroom these days. Going into the kitchen, I really like that, except the fridge and the stove are next to each other. But again, the colors are beautiful. There's only one counter space though. If I only have one counter, I don't use a microwave. But it's a small house, so you kind of have to make your decisions. And I really like how they put the dining table outside. That saves some space inside. The living room is great. I don't even hate the green coffee table. I think it goes perfectly next to the pink bookcase and the blue wall. I don't know what else to say. The bedroom is stunning. I love this orange. This is a beautiful orange. Orange is a hard color because if you go too bright or too saturated, it becomes overbearing really quickly and a little bit ugly, but this is just enough. I don't really like the bathroom mirror as her main bedroom mirror, but maybe it's a budget challenge. Oh no, it can't be a budget challenge. She has 20,000 simoleons in cash. Oh my god. Okay, well, ignoring the end, coming back outside, remember when I was saying that the houses were missing an extra something? This house gave me the extra something. I think the colors were extremely whimsical, vibrant, and fun. And it suits a crazy old lady living recluse in the jungle. I don't know, it kind of makes sense to me. I kind of like the basic shape. I like the inside. I like the layout. I like the colors. It's not ambitious enough to have a perfect score, but I'm pretty safe giving this one a 9. I really liked this one. I hope we get like a big house with this kind of color scheme. It was like very vibrant and islandy and fun, but so far the big houses have been more McMansion style, so I guess we'll have to wait and see. Next up is the Sun's Smile. This is a widower house too. Oh my goodness, there's a lot of like dead spouses in this one. Usually after a couple generations, I have a lot of dead spouses because of gold diggers, but I mean, not at the start of the game. Anyway, it's another basic beach house. The front and the back have a porch. Now it's a little bit uninspiring. I think this landscaping is a little bit too Sunset Valley for my taste. Like other than these like mango palm trees or whatever, or those coconuts. I don't know. I don't know anything about these type of plants. I live in the mountains, the snowy mountains. So we have like coniferous trees and stuff mostly. But if you know anything about palm trees or like what these might be, just let me know in the comments down below because I'm not like a botanist expert. Actually, I just recently learned the difference between cactus and agave. But anyway, let's just jump inside. This is a beautiful color palette. I really like this. The last house was pretty crazy, but this is a lot more harmonious, even if it's super bright and saturated. I love the shade of blue. The living room is all right. I like this stereo. It kind of reminds me of Sims 1 stereo too. Going into the kitchen, we disappointingly have a bathroom sink right in the kitchen as usual. My goodness. The dining room is just kind of smushed in here, but like I think the better half of the house is the bedrooms and the other bathrooms. Like look at this. We have 3 bedrooms, one for each child, one for like the matriarch of the family. She has her own ensuite. The kids are sharing another bathroom. Like it's perfect. My type of floor plan. And I love these colors. Like I would never choose a color like this, but it goes really well with the shade of pink, goes really well with the blue of the bathrooms and this bedroom too. They're all in their own area of the color wheel, and you have to be careful when you do like colors that are super close together, like purples and blues and greens together. But if you play with them and just get the right hues, they can be really beautiful. Really, the only thing that's bothering me is the bathroom sink in the kitchen. It's not a big house, and looking at it from above, and I've mentioned this before, when you're playing The Sims, like you don't look at the house like this or anything, right? You have like, well, I play with the walls kind of half down, so I always get to see the back wallpaper. So if the house looks good from like a distance like this, when I'm keeping an eye on everybody, that's what I'm really looking for in a house that I want to play in. I just wish the outside had a little extra something. I don't know. I'm gonna give this one an 8. It might have gotten a 9 if it was earlier on in the episode, because then I wouldn't be bored of this exterior style so far. But it was a nice change to see some nice colors inside, and now I know that EA has it in them, so let's see if we can get it again. Next up is the Tropical Zone. This is giving me Simsy starter vibes too. I don't know if she would do a wraparound porch on a house this small, but I guess she's done it before. Looking around, the roofing is very much Sims 4. I kind of like it. This is such a Sims 4 shape. Like the more I look at it and like the more I spin around, I'm like, this is kind of contemporary as to what people are doing today. But it's still got that classic Sims 3 style too. Like what with the two giant windows here in the front, they're kind of mansiony, and this is for an alto. And since it's the Sims 3, you can go through like his bio and stuff. I'm not going to get too much into the lore. I think that might be for like a different series, but he does have a couple enemies, someone who dislikes him and stuff. Oh, and he's engaged. So yeah, I know I don't talk about it too much, but most of these Sims end up having a lot of previous relationships, some good, some bad, and some worlds are better for it than others, but Sunlit Tides does have a little bit of drama, so it is pretty fun. But yeah, the house is a little bit too basic so far, so let's jump inside and see if there's anything special. I don't know if it's special, but it's definitely like, you know, pretty basic and pretty, which is, again, a nice change from the previous worlds, but a little bit monotonous for Sunlit Tides. I'm getting a little bit bored of like the contemporary suburban style. They do brighten it up with color and stuff sometimes, but again, it just looks a little bit too catalog. Like this is probably the most basic Sims kitchen that we've seen so far. The bathroom is all right. Why is the toilet metal? Anyway, the most fun room, ironically, is the green bedroom. I think this is the most beautiful room in the house. I don't think it's that pretty, but I think it's definitely the best. And the one tile of wallpaper here with the curtains. Now the thing is, I think it's absolutely ugly, but I do like how they tried something. They tried to be innovative. It just didn't really work, but I appreciate the effort. And for some reason, this diagonal porch door and this balcony reminds me of in Sims 2 Strange Town of Paul and Jenny's house. Like it kind of reminds me of like where I'd have Johnny's birthday. I don't know, maybe it's just a similar shape. But yeah, the inside is kind of its own thing. But you know what? Like looking at it from above, again, looks like basic Simsy starter. I don't know if she would do a diagonal wall here, but you know what I mean. It's got like the living, the dining, the kitchen, the one bathroom, and then the bedroom. Just not my favorite choices. Okay, coming back outside, I don't really know what to say. It's a little bit uninspiring. I like how they tried for the bedroom. They tried a few new things. Nothing really worked, but you know what? They gave it a shot. And the shape isn't too offensive. I've just noticed that the roofs, I think, are at slightly different angles. Oh my God, no. Wait, maybe not. I don't know. Maybe it's just the camera angle. I'm not going to count that. But this house has succeeded in being lackluster, yet being completely chaotic and having nothing really to do with each other. I don't know. I'm not feeling it. I kind of like the back porch, but that's about it. I'm going to give this one a 4. A 4, my goodness. We only have a few houses for EA to redeem themselves now. But as I've said before, the porch is beautiful and you get a nice, beautiful ocean landscape to look out to. But you get that with every house in Sunlit Tide, so I don't know. Let's keep going. Next up is the Wanderer's Way. Okay, again, I'm going to reward a little bit of ambition. This is definitely a decision for the style and texture. I don't hate the color. I like how it's kind of plain and wooden from afar, but as you get closer, it's got all these details like on the foundation, the diagonal planks on the roof. I wouldn't have done it for the roof. I think it's fine for the foundation, but I think they could have just like, you know, made this one a little bit simpler. But the shape is simple. You know, it's just like a box and a half with a simple gabled roof over it. So very classic EA style house. And the windows are of course not centered at all. So, you know, again, very typical, but it's cute and kind of blends in. And again, I reward a little bit of ambition for the style. So you know what? Well done. Let's jump inside. God, I sounded so uninspired there. Okay, so one of the things that they did is that the front door is on the side here. And I see that in a lot of contemporary Simmers builds in The Sims 4. So it's nice to see that in The Sims 3. Usually they just have the front door straight in the middle when you walk through the front porch. And it's kind of necessary if you want to do this layout, because obviously you want the kitchen, living, and dining to be slightly bigger than the bedroom and bathroom. The colors inside are pretty good. I don't agree with all of the furniture choices or the decorations, but I like how, again, they really went for it. It's a small house, so there's no reason that you can't fill it up. And they really did a good job. There's like 2 things on this table, 3 things on this table. There's my favorite plant. There's a painting, a paper towel roll. I love it. A kitchen sink. My goodness, who would have thought? The fridge and the stove are separate is also very nice. The cookie jars are metal. I don't know about that. Oh, good. And they didn't forget a garbage can. Well done. The bathroom, a little bit disappointing. I don't know how I feel about the tile or the curtain or the fact that there's no shower. They love doing no showers in EA worlds. And the bedroom's a little bit basic, but they do have a little like reward, like trophy statue thing here. So at least it's a little bit of personality. This guy's kind of old. Maybe it's his memories of his time in the sun, if you know what I mean. But now he's living all alone here in Heaven's waiting room. That's what I call Florida when old people move there. But anyway, going back outside to the house, I really like the idea of the style. I don't think it was pulled off. I think the inside was really well done. Again, they were a little bit more ambitious with this. Some builds you can tell that they just rushed through, but this, like, it really looks like they spent time decorating it and choosing things. So even if it's not for me, I'm gonna give it a little bit more credit than I normally would. I was gonna give it a 7, but I don't think it's that good. I'm gonna give it a 6.5. You're lucky, EA. I'm only cutting them some slack because these worlds are pretty big. Like I've said before, these worlds often have like 50 to 100 lots. Actually, all of them have that, I think. And this is really, really, really ambitious if you think about it. It's like 5 Sims 4 worlds. So I don't mind a simple house once in a while if they really care. Okay, only a few left. Let's go. Next up is the Wayfarer. Oh my god, I just said that next to my phone. I'm gonna get a bunch of furniture ads now. Anyway, looking at it, again, it's a bunch of old people living in the sun. It's giving me those Florida vibes, which is not really a bad thing. I know I don't like when things are super Americanized, but being from Canada, I kind of like half and half. And this is giving me that vibe. I can totally see 2 old people moving out to Sunlit Tides. Okay, looking around, it's definitely different from a lot of the builds, which I think is to its strength. It's a little bit darker. Everything in Sunlit Tides has been very bright and basic and kind of like, you know, diet bubbly, if that makes sense. I'm sorry, it's hard for me to articulate what I'm thinking. What I mean is that they're a little bit kind of plain beige, and this at least has some more darker modern elements, which really works for this style of house. I think if they didn't decorate it like this shape would be absolutely awful, but it's well broken up and I think they did a good job. And the landscaping is pretty and the pool's a good size, right? Okay, let's jump inside. Ooh, the inside is really stark. So they went for like a really bold color palette, which is a bold orange with gray, black, and white kind of thing. And since they really only use the orange, well, there's a little bit of yellow, but since they primarily only use the orange, they could match it with some of the woods and the whole thing kind of ties together. I would never try to do an orange-based color palette, so it's kind of nice to see. I think the rug is just enough orange. They didn't need to do orange chairs and stuff, and they didn't. The table is fine. This is a little bit of an empty space. I don't like how this part is wasted. They could have done a little bit better with that. But I do think this wall with the painting is really pretty. I just would have put like a table or like maybe a little extra seating area or something. The kitchen is pretty good. I like the use of decorations, except they use the barbecue tools again, or fireplace tools. I forget, but I know these aren't for a kitchen. And frankly, they don't have a fireplace, right? Okay, the bathroom is pretty plain and basic. Very my first bathroom, Sims 3. And again, the bedroom is really small. All these bedrooms are super cramped in. I think they could have used a few extra tiles for the bedroom. Like, let's say if the entryway was one size smaller, the bathroom could be moved over, and then you'd have a little extra room. But I digress. It's pretty good for like one of these modern houses. They haven't really impressed me with this style yet. And like I said, it's because they're too beige and basic. Well, I know the outside of this one is half beige, but since they mixed it in with the stone and the wood, different textures, different hues, different lightnesses, it just adds a more dynamic feel. And remember how I said I like some houses to stand out and some houses to blend in? This is a great house to stand out. Oh, sorry, I was just burping on my iced coffee. Okay, I'm gonna give this one an 8.5. 8.5 is pretty good. I'm feeling generous. I don't know. It's not a bad world. I know I'm like complaining a lot about things, but it's just a little bit uninspiring for me. I need a little extra something. And this house at least gave me a little extra modern something. So only 2 left. Let's see. Next up is Tropic Fever. Oh, it's kind of disappointing. It kind of looks like a first draft of some of the other houses that we've seen and looks like a dialed back version of some of the Isla Paradiso houses. It definitely has a certain style and I like a lot of the details. The pool is all right. The back deck is really nice. And I like this wood detail that kind of just like hangs over and you can't see it because of this stupid tree. But you see what I mean? Like the letter L there. But I think it's too much wood. I think they could have used a little bit less wood and a little bit more of the white. In fact, I would have done the opposite. I would have switched the white and the wood completely. I think it would have balanced a little bit better, but you know what? It's fine. And a few too many windows. They're a little big and they're not really in any sort of modern way. It's a little bit too balanced. But I do like how on the first and second floor they're lined up here. That's really nice. It like just creates like a little straight line. Yeah, and nothing says a modern EA build like 5 bamboo trees in a row, right? Okay, let's jump inside. Okay, coming inside, it's very kind of like basic and modern. The living room is, I don't know like this carpet really. This isn't really a modern blue. From a distance, like the color palette is pretty good and harmonious. They would have to pick something to go with these woods too. And I guess blue's a good choice. I kind of like the kitchen dining. Again, it's just a little bit smushed. In The Sims 3, you need a little extra space. And realistically, like having the legs of the chair and the table this close to the platform is not really ideal unless there's a wall there. Coming over here, I like the bathroom on a platform, but again, we've kind of seen all of this before, and this kind of bathtub is meant to be put in the wall so the pipes are hidden. You don't want them just sticking out. I kind of like the idea of a powder room leading up to the sauna area, but unfortunately, like this is just a powder room. There's no toilet or like anything else to do in here, and it's so big, like it's as big as the bathroom. I wouldn't have a quarter of my house dedicated to a sauna. My goodness. Okay, let's go upstairs. I like the lofted bedroom. I think the blue on the comforter is very beautiful. This is an excellent blue. It's modern, it goes with the wood, it goes with white, it's perfect. Going up here, we have a treadmill. He wants to visit Jungle Jim's gym. He already has a treadmill at home. Oh my god, he's one of those athletic people. So not my style, but it's perfect for him. And in fact, it's nice to have a pool with an active sim because it's more of like a fitness activity, right? So like you end up with these pools with these rich, lazy sims, and it's like they're not even gonna go swimming. But that's what rich people with pools do in real life anyway. Okay, let's go back outside. Looking at it again, it's not as bad as I first thought. It's a really concerted effort. It's really hard for EA to pull off modern sometimes. They're actually better with doing modern mansions because some of the details are just easier to use in a bigger house because they're such outlandish statements. And in a smaller house, you don't want to overdo it. And they might have overdid it a little bit, but the inside is fine, I guess. I don't know. I'm gonna give this one a 7. Just your standard EA modern house, but I do like the color of the bushes. I do like the bamboo trees, even if I'm bitchy about them. And we have seen them do a lot worse in previous worlds, so well done. And last but not least is Tropic Times. Tragic times, more like. Look at this thing. You know what? It's not too bad. It's just not really a grand finale house, if you know what I mean. It looks a little run down and the car is old, but it could just be because it's like they've lived here for so long or whatever, so I understand the vibe. But again, it just looks like a little bit basic and doesn't look as flourished, you know, like compared to a lot of the other lots. I know like 6 of the houses had Tropic in the name, but like this doesn't really give me the vibes, even with the palm trees. Going around, it's got EA windowing everywhere. Some of the windows are backwards, but again, a big porch like they're always doing. And in fact, looking at the top, like the roof is pretty good looking at it from the top. It just doesn't work. I think they didn't all have to be hipped roofs back here. I think one more gabled one would have just added that extra touch, but it's EA, so we're lucky we got a roof at all. Okay, let's go inside. Okay, what I like about it is that it's a more toned down and maybe like old-fashioned version of some of the houses that we've seen. The wood doesn't look as like new and contemporary. The colors are still nice and vibrant and kind of sprinkled throughout, and they did a good job harmonizing it, I think. Like this green kind of goes with these pinks and everything, and they didn't go crazy. Like they didn't use a bunch of colors. Well, I guess they kind of did, but like even this yellow wall here, it's not overbearing. It's not like, oh my God, they used yellow too. It's because it's soft and it's off to the side and it's just for one bedroom. The bathrooms are nice and basic. The kitchen has a kitchen sink, very nice. Actually, this kitchen might be like my favorite kitchen. I would just delete either the microwave or the food processor. I don't think you need both, just for a little bit more counter space, but it's like the perfect little size for this type of house. I like this bathroom a lot better. But yeah, it's again, one of those houses, like when you zoom in and look at things individually, it's a little bit questionable, but when you zoom out, I kind of understand what they're going for. But yeah, coming back outside, it's just like a nice family house to end off our episode. And to end off Sunlit Tides, I wasn't really expecting this. In fact, this is probably like one of the better builds, or like kind of closer to what I would actually play in, because it's a smaller family house. I don't like starting with a lot of money, and I do like to have a lot of kids right away, because I don't like the game to be easy, but that's not for everybody. And this house, it could have been dolled up a little bit more. They could have added a little bit more of that tropic element, especially to the outside. But the inside is fine. I kind of like the concept, and they did an all right job. I don't know. I'm gonna give this one a 7 as well. Oh my God, another 7. I think we started with a 7. I'm sorry nothing really blew us away, but I did have a really good time, and they did a lot better than I was expecting. I was expecting a few blunders because I'm not sure how like a base game island world would work, but apparently it works out really well. So let's wrap this up. Well, that does it for Sunlit Tides. What did you guys think? I was not super impressed with the builds, if I'm honest, and I know a lot of you really love this world, but I don't think it's for the houses. I do think it's for the world itself. This is absolutely beautiful. And for any of you who have played with Create a World before, you know how hard it is to get beaches and mountains and stuff to not look ugly. And here they did a really good job. I especially love these like little islands kind of sprinkled about the coastline. And like I said, the water and the sand colors are beautiful. So if you're interested in like building a beach house or doing some renovations, this is a really good world for that. I think a lot of the houses are kind of open to other ideas because a lot of them are really on the basic side. So I would recommend adding your own little island touch. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, give this video a like and don't forget to subscribe for some more Sims content. Oh God, Sunlit Tides is over. There's only 4 worlds left. Make sure you go vote on my community tab, because right now I think Dragon Valley is winning, but Hidden Springs was winning yesterday, so it could kind of go either way. But one thing's for sure, I think Barnacle Bay is going to be dead last. Nobody seems to want that one yet. But yeah, thanks again. I hope you have a great day. Boom.